So today we're going to talk about triangle inequalities. So basically this is the triangle inequality theorem. So it says the sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. So anytime you have triangles, you should be able to take two sides, add them together, and it should be bigger than the third side. So this is just written out with letters, and it's just all the possible combinations that you could add together. So you don't have to memorize this or anything, but there it is written out with letters. So right here it says, is it possible for a triangle to have sides with the given lengths? So essentially we just want to figure out if those inequalities are true. So I'm going to add the first two together, and it needs to be greater than 8. So 3 plus 7 is greater than 8. That's true, so that's good. And then I need to test all the combinations. So 7 plus 8 has to be greater than 3. That's true, so that's good. And then the last combination would be 3 plus 8 has to be greater than 7. And that's true, so yes, this could be a triangle. So you just have to make sure that you add the sides together, each combination, and it has to be greater than the third. Does that make sense so far? Okay. And if you wanted to sketch a little picture just so you could see it, that's totally fine. If that helps you, whatever helps you is good with me. The next one, same thing. I'm just going to start off adding the first two together. And it's supposed to be greater than the third. So right here, 3 plus 6 is 9. That's not greater than 10. So this can't be a triangle. So once you get that, you just stop. You put not a triangle. The next one, 4 plus 6 is supposed to be greater than 10. If you add those together, you get 10. 10 is not greater than 10, so not a triangle. And then this last one, 7 plus 7 has to be greater than 7, and it is. And no matter how I try to switch those around, it's always going to look the same because they're all 7. So this is a triangle. If you have a triangle with side lengths of 8 feet and 5 feet, what are the possible lengths for the third side? So when you do this, you have a couple scenarios that you have to think about. So remember our equation we're always using is we're taking the first side, we're adding another side, and we're saying it has to be greater than the third side. So this is essentially what we're doing. So we just kind of need to imagine two things. So when we start off, we could have 5 feet being the smallest. So we could We could not know the smallest. So let's just set up an equation. So we have x and then plus 5, and we would have to say that's got to be greater than 8. And so we're trying to solve for x. You solve an inequality just like a regular equation. So you would just subtract 5 from both sides. And we figure out that x needs to be greater than 3 for that to work. Okay, so x could be greater than 3. The second thing that could happen is the missing side could be the biggest one. So we could have 5 plus 8 and then not know the third side. So I'm just filling in the equation. So 5 plus 8 would get me 13. And then I'm just going to flip these two around. So x less than 13. And then you get your two answers. So all the possible side lengths are x could be greater than 3, but also has to be less than 13. So x is greater than 3. So you can rewrite it like this if you want to. You totally don't have to. All that means is the answers could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. So that just gives you this big range of answers. This is just a couple more of those. It says, given the two side lengths, determine the range of the possible side lengths for the first side. So there are two setups. Okay, so there are two setups. The first one is that x could be the smallest side. So what that looks like is x plus 8 has to be greater than 13. And then you solve. So x has to be greater than 5. The second one is that x could be the largest. And so we would do 8 plus 13 has to be greater than x. You add those together and get 21. And so you figure out, okay, x has to be less than 21. And then I'll just do one more, and then I'm going to ask you to do one. So again, x could be the smallest. So I would do x plus 8 is less than 10. When I solve, I get x is less than 2. Or second option, x could be the largest. So 8 plus 10 is less than x. So x has to be greater than 18. The first one would be x plus 7 is greater than 15. When you solve, you get x has to be greater than 8. The second one would be 7 plus 15 is greater than x. When you add, you get 22. So x has to be less than 22. So good job. Also, I'm not sure if you figured out the trick yet, but basically, if you take these two numbers and subtract them, you get that answer. If you take those two numbers and add them, you get this answer. So that works every time if you just want to do it that way. So up to you. Okay, so then the other thing is inequalities relating to sides and angles. So if two sides of a triangle are not congruent, the largest angle is opposite the longest side. And likewise, the smallest angle is opposite the shortest side. So it gives you this triangle, and I'm going to start by solving for angle Z. So I'm going to take 67 plus 59, and I get 126. And then triangles add up to be 180 total. So if I subtract, I get 54. So angle Z is 54. So then it says, what is the longest side of the triangle? So the largest angle is right here. It's angle Y. So across from that is the longest side. So XZ is the longest side. So it says, what is the shortest side of the triangle? So this is the smallest angle. So across from it would be the smallest side. Put the angles of the following triangles in order according to measurement from smallest to largest. So it's the same idea. I'm going to start with the smallest side, so that's this one. And then opposite it is the smallest angle. So angle B is the smallest. Then the next side is 13, and across from it is the middle angle. And then last, the largest side is 17. It's across from the largest angle, which is C. Okay, so this is the same idea, but the opposite. So we're going to start the top triangle by solving for the missing angle. So I'm going to add 65 and 24, which is 89. Subtract from 180 to find the missing angle. So that missing angle is 91. This time still says smallest to largest. Always make sure you read that. So I'm going to start with the smallest angle. It's across from the smallest side. The second angle is across from the middle side. The largest angle is across from the largest side. Okay, I'm just going to start now. The second smallest side is A. It's across from BC. Again, the angle was A. Notice that A is not in the side name at all. And then lastly, biggest angle is B. It's across from AC. Again, the angle's name's B, and B is not in the side name at all. So that's a way that you could always kind of figure that out too if that was confusing for you.